going to be a military video or an Army video. We're going to talk about the process from start to finish on how to join the Army. So we're going to bounce back and forth from first step, second step. So baby, you can start.
Okay, so the first step is to actually contact your recruiter. Okay, so a lot of people, they know people in the military, or they have family, friends, cousins, aunts that heard something about the military, and it's not always accurate. So just contact the military or Army recruiter, and we'll get you the correct, most accurate, current information about the military. And also, like when you actually contact you, we're gonna ask you a few like pre-qualification questions as well. And run that down.
Yeah. But how do you contact your recruiter?
Oh, well, there's multiple ways you can reach out to you can like just Google closest recruiting station, Army recruiting station, or like the Army Reserve as well. Not the reserve unit, but the actual reserve recruiters as well. It'll take you directly to an Army recruiter. Really? Or you can go to GoArmy or GoArmy.com.
Yeah, GoArmy.com. Put in your information. So if you are like nervous, then we will reach out to you. But when you contact your recruiter or a recruiter contacts you based off your request, we will ask you a few pre-qual questions before we move on to the next step, which is, for me, I ask, when was the last time you smoked marijuana, Delta 8, anything with THC in it? What is your current height and weight? Do you have any tattoos on your face, hands, or neck? What else do we ask? Oh, do you have any major medical issues, like you ever had asthma, inhaler use, anything like that? And if you answer those questions accordingly, like depending, even if, or like, yeah, have you ever been arrested? And if you have been arrested, then we ask like, okay, well, I'll ask what for. So if it's like a felony or something I know that we can't waive, I'll cut it off there because I don't want to waste your time. Like I'm not gonna have you come in when I know you're not qualified to join. But those are kind of questions you'll ask before you even set up an appointment, which is step 2, which is coming into the office for an appointment. And the appointment is not a commitment to join. It is literally just to get more information. In the appointment, we're going to go over, like, in my appointments, I always run my applicants through the process. I'll tell them what, like, to expect. I'll tell them the benefits we offer. I'll tell them the jobs, like, how many different jobs we offer. I'll tell them about the reserves. I'll tell them about active duty and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and also about like our experience in the military as well. We tell them a little bit about ourselves as well, so that you're not talking to like a complete stranger, you know, because we don't know you, you don't know us. So that's an introduction to the military and us as well.
Yeah, and also, so the second step is obviously coming in for an appointment. And with your first appointment, you will, or at least if you come in my office, you will be put on a practice test. The practice test is the practice ASVAB because that is the next step of joining the Army. So I'll always put my applicants on a practice test. You can talk about that.
The practice test?
No, we'll talk about the practice test and then going into the test.
Okay, so the practice test, it only takes roughly 30 minutes, and it's exactly what it is. It's a practice test just for us to gauge how well you would do on the actual ASVAB. Now, if you do really well on the practice test, then we can move into scheduling you for the actual ASVAB. If you don't do so well, then we have military resources that we can sign you up for, so you can actually take a little bit more time to study. And yeah, like I said, if you do really well, we're going to schedule you for that ASVAB. And there's 2 types of testing we can do. We can do the PICAT, which is a ASVAB you just take in our office. And then you're going to take a verification test afterwards at a secure location, typically a MET site, or at a MEP, a military insurance processing station. So it's going to be the verification test is going to be 30 questions from the same ASVAB you just took, but you have to answer all the questions roughly exactly the same. Well, not roughly, but exactly the same. So if 2 + 2 = 6, then 2 + 2 = 6 on that on that confirmation test or verification test. So don't try to change it up just because you know, because if you don't, if you mix my words up.
All right, so let me touch on a few things he said. For one, bringing it back to the practice test, A lot of applicants be like, oh, I didn't study. We don't want you to study because this is just what it is. It's a practice test. It doesn't count against you. I want to know where you're struggling at so I can give you the proper resources. Because what if you went in and studied and you got like a, let's say a 35, which is, it's passing, but it's on the lower end of passing. But then you studied, so I can't cater my resources to what, like, if you come in unstudied and I'll be like, oh wow, you did really well on word knowledge, but you need some help in the math, I'll know to give you math study material, or I'll know where your weaker points are. And then what he was saying about the PICAT, so the PICAT is the actual ASVAB. You take it in the office, but the caveat is you do have to confirm that score you get in the office at a secure location. So you'll take it in our office, and then you go to the secure location. They're going to ask you 30 of the 150 questions you just took at random. You don't know which ones they are. You're not trying to better your score. You're not trying to, get a better score. You're not trying to, you're just trying to say that I was the one who took it right there, and I'm just confirming that it was me. So if you know that you got an answer wrong and you now know the right answer, you still need to put the wrong answer, because if you change up your answers too much, it'll enroll you into a whole new ASVAB because your answers aren't matching. So it looks like you weren't the one who took the first test.
And that's a whole nother 3 hours if you actually roll into the
yeah. But you will get your score. As soon as we get your score, we give the applicant the score. So then you'll know, like, oh, you got a 56, like, really good job. When are you available to now go up to MEPS? Like, and that's what he said, military interest processing station. That's where they're going to do your physical, your full body physical. I always tell my applicants it's like a in-depth sports physical. Like if you ever played sports, but it's more thorough. Like they're gonna check you for STDs, they're gonna check you for drug use, they're gonna check your hearing, your eyes, they're gonna check your range of motion. They're just like everything, okay? But these are professionals, these are real doctors, and it's not the same as it like was a couple years ago, or like when we went through, like a decade ago. It was like everybody was like everybody was on the floor, but now it's more personal. It's just you and the doctor, and not everybody that's processing that day. So it's very professional though, and it's not bad. It is a very long day when you go to MEPS. So, and it's a 2-day process. So after you take the test, I'll ask my applicants like, okay, when are you available to MEPS? And if I say like, can you go Thursday? That means Wednesday to Thursday, because you have to check into the hotel the night prior to you going to MEPS. So you'll stay at the hotel, and then you'll get a wake-up call. It's all paid for by the Army, by the way, but you'll get dinner. You'll get like a 4:30 wake-up call, I think it's 4 o'clock. I was about to say it might be 4 o'clock. They'll give you breakfast, and then they will shuttle you to MEPS, which is probably, for us, it's probably 20 minutes, like a 20-minute shuttle ride to MEPS. They're gonna check you into MEPS, and then that's when you're gonna start like the whole process of the physical. After you pass physical, you'll sit down with the career counselor.
Yeah, you'll sit down with the career counselor. They will, you talking about like phys analyst?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you sit down with the career counselor, and they're gonna go over your contract, they're gonna go over the jobs, and Army contracts, they're from 3 to 6 years for active duty, and for Army Reserves, there is a 2-year option, but we do not recommend that one. We'll explain that later, but it's from 3 to 6 years as well. And to get like the majority of the benefits, you have to do 6 years with the Army Reserves, and at a minimum 3 years with the active duty. And they're gonna cover your entire contract. They're gonna tell you, it's going to be what job you're getting, what job you picked, the ship date, the basic training location, and your advanced individual training location. And after they go over that, you're going to go into another conference room, and you're going to swear in.
Yes. So before you sign any contract, officially joining and swearing in, there should be no unanswered questions about anything. Like we don't pick your job for you. The career counselor at MEPS does not pick your job. You will pick your own job. Like you said, you're gonna know how long you're joining or how long your contract is, whether that be 3 years, 6 years, anywhere in between. You're gonna know that. You're gonna know where you're going to basic training. You're gonna know when you're leaving. You're gonna know when you're going to AIT, and you will know that location. The only thing you might not know is where your first, if you're active duty, where your first duty station is, but some people will know because they join under option 19, which is choice of station. So they picked where they're getting stationed, so they would know that. But before you sign any contract, you're gonna know everything. So that's basically the whole process in a nutshell. Obviously, there are small details like we left out. If you want a more thorough video or have any questions, just leave them below. Cause like there's like, I don't think we went over pre-screening here.
I don't think we did.
Yeah, like there's smaller details, but like that's just the overview of like how it all works. But there are smaller details like a pre-screen, which I can explain if you guys want.
The application packet.
The application packet is part of the process. Those are smaller details that you guys don't really see because we have to do most of that behind the scenes work, but that's how that works. So yeah, if you have any questions, just leave them below and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.